Welcome back, students. For today's session, in EDUC 9, Technology for Teaching and Learning, I will discuss to you the Gagnis theory of learning. And first of all, I am Miss Edchel Dairo, third year BTVT Ed FSM. And I am expecting that you pay attention to our interesting discussion. To start our discussion, let me know first who have an idea about Gagnis theory of learning. Anyone in this class? Yes, Miss Cruz? Okay, very good. So, let me define first to you of what Gagnis model of instructional design is. So, Gagnis model of instructional design is based on the information processing model of the mental events that occur when the adults are presented with various stimuli and focuses on the learning outcomes and now to arrange specific instruction events to achieve those outcomes. So class, in this Gagnis theory of learning, we have here of what we call the phases, events, and possible instructions. So the first phase that we will tackle is the initial phase. And the events in this phase is to gain attention. So if someone who wants to teach, this is the first thing he or she needs to do. You need to greet your class first, and when you discuss, you can use video clip, images, and illustration so that they will understand the discussion. And after that, you can also ask questions to them if they're really listening and understands the lesson. The second phases is the instructional phase. So the first events in this phase is present the content. In these events, there are two possible instructions. The teacher presents the lesson into chunk technology aided. The teacher should give examples of the sub-lessons. The lesson should be presented through the use of the technology aid like PowerPoint presentations. You can also add sub-lessons regarding on the main lesson so that your lessons must be prepared before you discuss to your class. The third phase is the post-instruction phase. So the first events in this phase is provide feedback. There are two possible instructions in these events. The first is the teacher asks the students to comment on the performance group. The teacher also provides constructive criticisms to the performance. So here, both students and teachers can also give their comments or feedbacks or judgment to the performance group that they've watched. The second events on the initial phase is inform learners of objectives. The possible instructions on these events is the teacher shows the objective of the lessons to their students so that the students should know the lesson that you will discuss to them. The second events on the instructional phase is provide learning guidance. So we have here two possible instructions. First is the teacher provides exercises and tasks with less guidance. Second is the teacher also provides case studies and visual images to the lesson. So the second events on post-instruction phase is provide feedback. So the possible instructions here is the teacher provides students suggestions to correct the performance. So when your students do something wrong on their performance, you can suggest or correct them so that on their next performance they will not make mistakes. So here, the second events on the post-instruction phase is assess performance. The possible instructions here is the teacher should evaluate the students according to the learning objectives. Second, the teacher provides rubrics for performance-based assessment. So as a teacher, you need to evaluate, and you can also provide rubrics to the performance of your students. The third event on this initial phase is stimulate recall of prior knowledge. The possible instructions here, the teacher reviews the past lesson relative to the present lesson. So, as a teacher, you need to discuss some information on the past lesson so that your students will remember it. The third event on the instructional phase is elicit performance. In these events, we have two possible instructions. First, the teacher asks the students to elaborate the details of the lesson. Second, the teacher groups the students into smaller teams to work on tasks. So, as a teacher, you need to give all the information to your students, and you can give them a group task on what they've learned on that discussion. The third event on the post-instruction phase is enhance retention and transfer to another context. So, there are two possible instructions here. The teacher provides students concept maps showing connection to the other field of the lesson. Second, the teacher encourages the students to give more examples that will connect the lessons to other field. So, as a teacher, you need to provide some informations that will connect to your lesson that you will discuss to your students. So, in conclusion, as a teacher, you need to do something so that your students will gain attention in your discussion. So, as a teacher also, you need to provide feedback to your students so that they will do better next time. Teachers should also give all the informations on their students so that they will understand and they can apply it on their real life situation. Okay, class, thank you for listening. I hope you learned something about the discussion that we tackled today. See you next week. Bye, class.